you've in mind.
And now, 1160 AM KBDT proudly presents Life Solutions, coaching, counseling, naturopathic medicine, insights for successful living, and getting better with Ann Beal.
Wow, we are so glad to have you join us today. I was trying to come up with a great topic that's different than everything you keep hearing over and over and over every day in this chaos and craziness. I have a wonderful woman with me today. Her name is Monica Brown. Now, I've had her on before, and I welcome her back. Thanks for being here, Monica.
Thanks for having me.
Monica is, to me, different than anyone else I've ever met. She has 9 children, 3 of them adopted.
That's right.
She just had a baby. How long ago?
2 years ago.
2 years ago. Has it been 2 years?
It's been 2 years.
Oh my gosh, because today I thought, having her come with a little baby, 2 years. And how old are you?
I'll be 50 in November.
Yes, and this baby, she is...
I knew she was going to ask me how old
I said. She actually, what's interesting about her is that not only was she very healthy and able to get pregnant at 48.
Yes.
And she, 46, 47, how old were you when you got pregnant?
I think she was born right after my 47th birthday.
Okay, so 46, 47,
or,
whatever, in the middle.
Old. They call that geriatric. I don't buy that.
She actually, with all her children, even before this new baby, she has never, she's raised her kids with an organic fruits and vegetables business.
Yes.
You actually have a co-op that you run.
Yes.
And the kids help.
Yes.
And we got your fruits and vegetables for a long time.
Yes, that's
at
true.
our ranch. And we were growing fruit, but we
Yes.
couldn't grow all kinds of things here in Texas.
Right.
And I've learned a lot from your co-op about all different kinds of things that I'd never heard of before.
Right.
And my daughter's like, what is this? And then because you would put different kinds of things in there.
Right.
And so with Monica, there was a point in her life where they started eating differently, her and her husband.
Right.
And it changed their health and all their illnesses went away. And their kids, to this day, how old is your oldest?
Okay, the oldest will be 26 in May.
And has he ever been sick? See, I didn't think so.
Mm-mm.
No, and then they've had maybe a headache here and there, but
Sure,
all your
we've
children
had a
have.
stuffy nose here and there, that kind of thing. But when we say sick, I mean
No, well, hold on, I got
they're
talking.
so sick that I need to take them to a doctor.
Christy was like, she's not in the microphone.
Sorry. So when we say they've never been sick, they haven't taken medications. I've had points where I thought, I might need to take this one to the doctor, but we haven't had to. And we do have a doctor, and we saw him maybe a year ago, and he's like, okay, we have great health everywhere, but the health has been really stronger than I imagined. So that's been really a blessing. And people think, you have so many kids, they must be sick all the time. They're not.
Yes, and the fact that most people, their kids are sick a lot, and they go to school and they're around other kids who are sick a lot.
Right.
And so they build this immunity and everything, but they still every year get the flu or something like that. They just get sick.
Right.
And for you, as long as I've known you, your kids have never had anything like that.
No.
And nor have you and your husband.
No flu.
Nothing.
No. I had an ear challenge a year ago. I got sick at that point, and I'll say that we've been 20 years down this journey, so we're not perfect on it. And we did shut our business down for a full year
Because of your baby.
Yeah, that and just some other things. God was he's been doing a big work in our life in a lot of ways. It's been interesting. And so, I think we jumped off our bandwagon a little bit, and we started to notice things, and we realized, not as good because we weren't getting the food. And actually, even right now, I deliver the food to others, but I don't get it myself right this minute because I deliver it into Amarillo, Texas, and also Midland.
So you have people who do that for you.
Yes. We work together to get the food to the people in those 2 cities right now, and I'm open to opening back up in the DFW area.
Right.
I've just been waiting and also needing to get some systems in place. So what we did in Midland and Amarillo is they called us up, some people did, some others, and said, we've got groups of people who want food. We were able to deliver it there. And so they get a box of produce every 2 weeks. So I tell people, even if you're not involved in a co-op, fruits and vegetables heal and fruits cleanse. And we know things like garlic, coconut oil, the things people learn about. Once you learn about it, you realize, all I have to do is change a few things. And it does make a significant difference. And I've been pleased myself and many, many other families finding out, wow, this makes a bigger difference than I ever thought. So we cleared out our pantry and we started filling it with things that were fresh and whole foods. And I just think that's actually a huge thing people should do. Everybody should do it, whether it's a co-op or not.
And it has changed your life with your health.
Absolutely. Well, like I say, I had,
Now, Monica's so
had
funny
another baby. So, that kind of shows you that my body was responding,
Yes.
which is great. And I'm glad about that. And she's very, very healthy and strong and everything. But yes, I would it's so cute. What's your advice? Well, eat your vegetables.
Eat your vegetables.
Like Grandma said, if you don't like them, you'll learn. You just be willing to go ahead and try.
Yes.
And you'll learn, and you'll see that in time, your body's going to want them.
And I've been there. I've been there, and you guys with your kids have been cooking.
Yes.
I say cooking, and the kids are sitting there, and there's like bowls of like kale and lettuce and carrots and all that kind of stuff, and they're sneaking those. They're like, you would think they were sneaking like a cookie or something, and they're like sneaking the kale and eating it, and the carrots and the radishes, and I, they're helping. They know these recipes, and I'm talking like 7-year-olds are helping cook this stuff, and they're making all these vegetable dishes and all these fruit dishes, and they got. I think you did that. You got watermelon and you chopped it all up, and so we were all eating watermelon, and it's just a really healthy life there. Now you homeschool your kids as well,
right?
And so how many kids are at home right now?
I have 7 at home.
Okay.
And then like we were talking earlier, sometimes people think, well, homeschool, you're under a rock, and we're really not. We've traveled internationally a couple times. We just traveled to Colorado and back, and we also go to nursing homes and to homeless shelters sometimes too.
And you also got back from Israel like how long ago?
That was in November, so it wasn't that
November.
long ago. But my point of that is, yes, by homeschooling them, one movement to homeschool, we changed everything about our health. I think also because we are just not in the big mix.
Which is what we wanted to talk about today.
Yes.
There are so many healthy things about you, and definitely your website for the co-op. Now, I know right now you're not back because you have a lot going on, but you're not back delivering to Dallas-Fort Worth.
Right.
And I have asked you, and I asked you again today, are you going to start doing that here in the area?
Right. I'm open. And I feel like God is leading me that direction. I just need some better systems in place. And my priority is my family.
Yes.
I mean, praise God, I've been married for 30 years in June, and I come from divorce. So I'm thankful. That was one of my concerns when I first got started with marriage was, can I manage? Will I be able to do this? And he's definitely blessed that. And then the children, especially when we stopped our business for a while, I really felt like God was doing a work in our family, inside our walls, because we had things going on that really shouldn't have been or should be, but would need to be dealt with. And so that's my bigger concern, that I make sure that how this gets done is so that I can stay with the priorities that I have. They're very important to me. So I hope other mothers and fathers during this time of confinement or whatever's going on with them, that they really get their heart before God and just say, show me what I can do. He has great creative ideas. I think he wants more freedom for us than we experience in America.
Right.
A lot of us have bought into public everything, public school, public, not public, but working somewhere that traps you, where you don't have choices.
It's more of that system. And I know you and I talked about that,
Yes.
that, getting out of that system, which is what I did when I started my own business as well.
Right.
Just having my own business so I could be home with the kids and schedule and be able to, and the counseling business has allowed me to do that. And even the life coaching.
Absolutely.
And the way that it's, progressed with our clinics, being able to do that.
Right.
But also I can, as you can, travel outside of that schedule when everyone travels.
So we just came from Colorado for 2 weeks in Pagosa Springs, and we were able to ski with no lines. And if you love skiing, no lines, you get to ski and ski and ski and ski. And what's amazing about that is that we don't want to not be around people. That's not it. There were people there, but it was so peaceful. And we didn't wait at anything we wanted to do. We just did it. And whereas now, of course, the virus has stopped everyone from traveling. The places are shut down. But if it weren't, it would be slammed right now.
Right. It would be
You'd
really
be wall-to-wall people.
Yeah.
So we love people. And I tell my kids, we didn't do this to stay away from people. We did this for freedom, for choice, for daily decisions. And I'm hoping all my kids catch that idea of, okay, get my work done. And then what do I want to do with my time? And I don't believe that your life has been stress-free, and mine hasn't either.
No, not stress-free.
But because of those choices, stepping out, in those choices and asking and seeking God, what do you want me to do?
Right.
He gives us things to do, and it can surprise us how simple it can be and how wonderful it can be. And then what? You get to be with your aging parents, or you get to be with your grown daughter, or travel and see that baby. And it's great that we get to see them through Facebook or all that's incredible. We should be grateful, right? We have telephones to call someone. It's not like we lose someone to who travels, like your children grow and they travel, like in Little House on the Prairie days, you might never see them again. We have a world we live in where we get to really enjoy each other if we can. But if we're caught up in a system of constant work and stress that we allowed ourselves to choose, I mean, we chose it, then if we also open up our mind and say, God, what do you want me to do? Show me, and have faith that he'll do it. I believe he will do it for anybody that wants them to, anybody that asks.
And it's a different kind of life in that, having all that stress, and then you're stressed out and in a hurry and running your kids around and all the things you're doing, you're not eating well. And this is what we see all the time.
Absolutely.
So they're driving through fast food.
Right. It's like a crazy cycle.
It is. And so that is why they're so susceptible to getting sick as well.
Sure. And it all adds up and adds to itself and then multiplies.
And for us, our word for the new year for 2020 was simplify.
Okay.
And just simplify everything. And I think that when you were talking about wanting to really come on and talk about getting out of the system. Right now, everything's changing. So everybody is kind of it's crazy.
Some people are being forced. They won't even go back to the jobs they left 2 weeks ago. You know what I mean? That's what happen.
And people are getting notices to just file for unemployment. I mean, everything is crazy. So this whole world right now is changing, especially, in our world here in the United States. So this is a time when I feel like, think about this. Think about, not getting caught up again in just that whirlwind. And you've talked about, so the money is a little different and that's the reality. But at the same time, we still have so much that we're able to do. Although, look, you have 9 kids, okay? And so 2 are grown and gone. You have 7 left. You adopted 3, and yet you're still able to go skiing. You're able to go to Israel. You're able to do all these things.
And I'll say the Israel thing was provided for through service. We had served, and then we had given, and it came back to us. So we didn't even pay for that trip.
Is that amazing?
It is amazing. Yes. And when I came back from Colorado, my husband left for 6 days to learn some new things with foam insulation sales. That's what he does. They're going to retro houses, take all the insulation out and put new in. But regardless of it, he had to leave, and I thought, I'm so thankful that this vacation's over and I don't have to start work on Monday, that I'm at home and we can rest in if we need to, because the children are homeschooled. If we want a spring break, we can actually break for it however long we need to. We get to use our good judgment.
And homeschooling's fun. I mean, with the kids, we got to take them to the Fort Worth Science Museum of History, for the history part of, you can do different kinds of things for the lessons. And, horseback riding, and them taking those lessons was part of athletics.
Yes.
And so, you just get to, and they have co-ops for homeschooling with different teachers. But
that's right.
I know for you have really wanted people to see that the life you live, you love it so much, and you're so healthy, and the kids are so healthy, and they're well, and they're loving, and you just have this almost like it's not a bubble, but it's like if somebody wished that they could live in that land that it used to be back, a long time ago. You have kind of, in a lot of ways, mastered that, I think. You have your mom who also lives with you. How old is she?
Okay, so can I tell how old my mom is?
Yeah.
Okay, I think 72 or 3.
Now, she's a lively thing. Mom is not sick.
No.
Oh, my gosh. She's in a band.
She runs a band. She leads the JoshuaExperience.com band, and that is a very active, very, very active. And she's up and downstairs every day, exercises every day, eats well, is in her weight range, all that kind of stuff. She has been a great inspiration to me.
And she actually... did she go to Israel with you?
She did. She's the band leader.
Yeah, that's
we all went.
Yes.
The whole band went. And I'll just say that I said she inspired me in all those ways, but it's really her spiritual strength. That's where it all comes from.
And she's a wonderful person.
She is. She is a wonderful person.
Yes. And the other thing is that with your family and the way that you do things, you want people to know that they can go to your website.
Okay, it's Your Health Source, yourhealthsource.org.
And that is where they can find out all about the co-op, but also other kinds of fruits and healthy ways. You have a blog?
The blog actually got destroyed, but there is a YouTube that they can click to. So they can see some videos and learn, and there's information on the website that will help them.
It's so interesting that happened to you, because that happened to me.
Yes.
We're building our new website again.
It's start over. You think you did something, and I'm doing this again.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Well, and when we come back, we are going to talk about the ways to get out of the system in a healthy, wonderful way, and it's not going to break you. You're going to have so much freedom.
Did it cut you off?
All right. So we are going to keep this up.
Okay.
And so the people who are watching here can, here.
Okay.
So they'll know it during the break.
Right.
So one of the things, so the next segment is what is it, Christy? 550? Is it 550? 550.
Sliding off.
So I'm going to turn this way so I can talk to you.
Okay.
So if you can take those off. If you
Okay.
want. The reason I wanted you to have them on so you can tell, so you can hear yourself, but she turned you up.
Oh, good. Thanks.
And when you can't hear yourself very well, that means you're away from the microphone.
Okay. Okay.
And I have, and I don't know, it's got to be this one because she wasn't that far away. Okay,
It might
thank
be that
you.
I wasn't talking loud
And
enough.
she turned it up.
Okay.
Okay. So for this segment, what are some things I know you
Well,
wanted to do this?
this is what I just released yesterday
Okay.
these are like oil and grain and rice and beans and the stuff people are ordering in Amarillo, canned goods. Your natural.
So it is. So you are doing the oil and the rice and the beans.
Oh yes.
Okay.
Again, I wasn't, and I opened it back up, but all the natural sweeteners and things like that, they're asking for it.
Let me see that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh my gosh.
And it's 22 pages. It's 900 line items. I mean, there's
So
toilet
you
paper on
deliver
there.
all of this. So we gotta
Yes,
talk
it'll
about
come.
that.
It'll come on a truck, and then the people there have to sort through it, and they all prepay and everything. But I also have prayer here. I wouldn't mind doing for you and for others because you asked me what I'm doing,
Yes.
and I would like to share that. It might be on the next one though. I don't know when.
So the next one is 16.
16
So
minutes,
this one-
5, and then 16.
Well, when we come back from break, it'll be 5:50.
Okay, that's good.
Right on there. And then, it says it right here. Can you see that clock?
I see it. Where
So-
does it tell us though?
so
Live
this,
and
This is what we just did. 15,
Okay,
And then
okay.
we come back and it's 6.
Okay.
Okay. And then we'll be here and it's 15:30. So that's a longer segment.
good. Okay.
And so you can, whatever part is longer, you would want to do in that segment.
Okay, we'll do that. We'll do
And
that.
so for the next segment, what would you like to do then? What would be
That last
for-
one.
No.
Oh.
This next one for
Right now, we could
6
talk about
minutes.
some of the stuff that's being delivered, and
Okay, that'll be awesome.
and just this is the kind of it's that simple.
And that's so good because
It's the fruits, it's the vegetables, but it's also as simple as like brown rice or white rice. I mean, I don't have to say rice; that gets a little confusing for people. But anyway, it's as simple as sea salt versus regular salt. Just make the changes. Regular sugar is not the best one for you. Yeah.
So I'm going to let you lead
that's fine.
that,
Mhm.
and then I'm just going to interact with you. All the things that you can say about that. Now,
Even
this
just like
show-
paying attention to digestion. If your body's processing what you're eating, you've got a good sign there. If it's not, you need to fix that. Just watch your body. How is
and
it?
your skin is so beautiful.
Thank you.
So it's
Thank
so
you.
amazing that your skin is
Thank
so
you.
great. So this show is in Dallas Fort Worth. It is
Okay.
also in Nevada
Okay.
and Chicago
Okay.
and Minnesota.
Okay.
So just know that people on there, when they come to your website, they might
Right.
also want you to start there. Now,
Right.
And I know a lot of the Nevada listeners are ranchers.
Okay.
Okay. And so anyway, so it'll go
Yeah.
to all those
Okay.
places. And they would love to know. And I know for me, I kept thinking, it would be good for you to also have some, because you have recipes, right? So people can go to your website.
Well, they're going to have to go to YouTube right now because my blog got completely destroyed. And then they called me and said, hey, for $50 to $100 a month, we'll fix it. You can pay us monthly. I'm like, I'm not paying you monthly. This sounds like a scam.
Well,
You literally destroyed everything. And they said you had problems. I go, I didn't have any problems.
yeah,
It worked just fine.
mine accidentally got deleted.
Uh-huh.
And then they tried to pull it back and there were missing pieces and the blog was gone. And so we're
Oh.
trying to get it up and running
Mhm.
again.
That's
but I'm
just the
moving it.
enemy.
I'm not leaving
That's
it where
just
I
the
had it. So-
enemy.
To admit it's getting better, a little better all the time.
And now here's more Getting Better with Ann Beal on 1160 AM KBDT.
We are back with Monica Brown, yourhealthsource.org,
Yes.
yourhealthsource.org.
Mhm.
It is a organic fruits and vegetables and coconut oil and rice and beans and
Mhm.
all that co-op.
Right.
Okay. And so if you would like to go to that website, you would love to have things delivered to your door. Now, what's interesting is they've cut back right now. She had a baby
Mhm.
and you are delivering to Amarillo
Mhm.
and
Midland.
Midland. But you would be willing to start it up again
Yes,
here.
in the
So
Dallas-Fort Worth area, maybe Oklahoma, places like that.
I'm trying to talk her into it because we used to get those here.
Right.
And they're always, and it's wonderful. But you had a word to say just about eating that way. So, and why you
Okay.
deliver what you deliver.
Well, okay, so it's really that simple. It's healthier meats. It's again, like I'm not a pork person. I'm not against pork. I don't think it's a sin. I do come from a scriptural and Christian perspective. So I'm like, okay, I see that God said don't do it to the Israelites. He did say that to them. And I'm not an Israelite.
No, you're
and I'm
not.
not under the law, but when I have a choice, I'm going to go for the healthier meat. So that I look at what kosher is. I studied that. What does the Bible say about healthy living is a book you can read. And there's plenty of dietitians and people out there that can tell you, so sure, moderation is great, but I think you're better off even eliminating categories. So if you offered me pork, I would eat it, but I don't buy it. Okay. So that's kind of how it is at my house. And so it's similar to shrimp and things like that. So what we do is we stick with the healthier foods that we know promote health, that we're absolutely certain. And that would be your vegetables for sure, your fruits, your whole grains. And many women don't understand about sugar or salt, but sea salt is an easy transition. That's probably the easiest one to make. No one in your family is going to notice a difference with it. It's going to be, in other words, it won't taste different.
Right.
And then sugars, there's like honey, there's maple syrup, real maple syrup. Well, that's expensive, but it's worth it. And then there's things like a sugar called sucanat, which means sugarcane natural. So sugarcane natural, again, in moderation, but it's still very, very good for you. It has minerals in it that God put there. So coconut oil, olive oil, get the real deal. I would get organic, first cold press olive oil if you can. Butter, I believe in real butter, the real stuff. And I think that's totally scriptural, that you should be eating the fat, that kind of fat anyway. So having some oils in your diet, obviously avocado is a good fat too. But anyway, and if you cannot buy organic, get what you can, but focus on the things rather than if you're going to choose between a boxed item or a fresh item, go for fresh. And at first you might feel hungrier. That's okay. Just, you'll grow there. You get there, but getting the packaged items reduced down to a minimum is so good for you.
Now, a lot of people right now are kind of afraid,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right.
So trying to let them know things for fresh. Now, we have some farms near us where we live
Right.
over, near the racetrack over there.
Yes.
So we have farms that we can go to for fresh vegetables and fruit.
Okay.
And they don't have everything, of course, with fruit because
Right.
citrus is
Sure. We're in Texas.
very
That's
well.
right.
And so, we try to get fresh strawberries or whatever is available at the time.
Right.
But, people here in Dallas can have that problem and they really don't want a lot of people touching it and spraying it. And so,
I would go for frozen if you have to. Frozen vegetables, I would do that. But I would say, okay, number one, we bless our food. We pray over it. We ask God's blessing and we ask for that unction in our spirit to know, should I not do this? Because just because you ate something that was good yesterday, like a bag of something or a brand, we really do need to be led by the Lord. Like when we were talking about getting free, we got to be led by Him, or we're just going down rabbit trails,
Right.
And I think we can do that. So praying over our food, I think, is really important. And then if you need to get frozen or something, that's fine. But I'm still saying focus on the whole foods, the fresh foods, if you can. If you're going to get fresh things, you might think, I'm scared of an apple, but I'd rather eat a box of Cheez-Its or something. Well, your Cheez-Its might not give you anything like a disease, but they're not going to do anything for you anyway. So I would wash the apple and I would trust washing works. And again, since I come from a scriptural perspective, our church has asked us to read through the Bible. We just read through all the laws that God put. He was like, wash, wash, wash.
Yes.
Quarantine. Do what the government's telling us to do. Step back if you're sick. Back away and wash. But even just with water does amazing things. So we have a good God who didn't leave us without answers, and washing works. So wash and listen to the Lord. Listen to Him. He will lead you. So, and then look at books. Look at a book called What the Bible Has to Say About Healthy Living, because it's a good basic. It was written by a doctor and he's passed on now, but it tells you, it'll explain everything. It'll tell you why. It makes so much sense and you can do it. You can do it at any grocery store, any farmer's market, whatever.
And I know washing fruit, like even with vinegar, some of the doctors on our staff would soak their fruits and vegetables in vinegar.
Yes.
And they said it took out all of any of the toxins or anything that was bad.
Good.
And then
Good.
it wouldn't taste like it had vinegar in it, which
Right.
is strange. And so even if you wash it with vinegar,
Absolutely.
a lot of those organic sprays
Yes.
to clean fruits and vegetables are vinegar.
Yes.
Or apple cider vinegar.
Right.
Right. And so just finding the natural things like colloidal silver, you could wash it
Yes.
with.
There's so
like
many
that.
things you can do, and even water alone is going to do a lot for you. So it's amazing.
And, the Cheez-Its are wonderfully tasting, but what we're concerned about right now is building your immunity up. Right now, you need to be building your immunity. So the more fruits and vegetables you can eat,
Yes.
that builds your immune system up.
Yes.
Instead of just taking supplements, because yes, you can, but they don't absorb like fruit can and
Right.
vegetables. And so Monica is going to share with us how to make things last longer, how to get all this really healthful stuff for you. So stay right here.
Okay. Yeah, you're going to have to really wave because I'm not even looking. I'm like,
I see you. Okay. So, so the rice, the grains, the beans, the fruit, the vegetables, the oils. What else do you carry?
I mean, there's herb teas on here. Those traditional traditional medicinals are great. I mean, some people like the coconut water. We do the kombuchas on here.
Do you have kombucha?
Mm-hmm.
Well, do you want to talk about
some
fermented
organic
foods and how healthy they are?
Say again.
Fermented foods.
We can.
Healthy they are?
Sure.
Well, you don't have to, but you can say why kombucha.
Sure. Sure. And all that that is on I believe it's on the website, and it's definitely on the YouTube, so they can definitely learn more. And we've also talked about it on past shows, so that it is there.
It is. Oh,
yeah.
You have.
But still, cultured food, it's good for you. And
yeah.
How long is this break?
The break is always, let's see. So this break
right here's where we are, halfway through the break. Is that what that blue line means?
Yes.
Is that the clock?
So the clock right here is that's a minute, but we won't be back on at that time.
Okay.
Right, Christy? How long before we're back on? Yeah, 2 minutes.
Okay.
So that's counting down that. Okay, here we go. Good. So it always comes to when they're playing the more sponsors, the less time.
Sure.
And so that's why I quit having them play the commercials, because there's so many now.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we're going to add some information. For you right now, out of the system, anything else they need to know? Because I'd like them to know if they're going to live this life, what are the benefits? Besides just being home with your kids and being able to travel. Right. Because for you, you said today that you didn't have a house.
I don't own that. That's my mother's.
Oh,
we had a home. We sold it. So we're living at her house, paying her. And it helped her a ton.
It is a giant house.
It is a big house. There's plenty of room for us, and the kids are right down the hall from our bedroom.
She loves having you there.
She does, but I think she's about to jump the nest. I think God's bringing her somebody new. So that'll be kind of exciting and a big change for all of us.
Which so is not surprising. She is beautiful.
Yeah. Well, today I saw her. I said, you look beautiful. And I said, do you know what? You are beautiful.
She is.
It's not about this. This is beautiful, but it's this, and it's all this. So, and she has to fight back all kinds of stuff. She has stuff like what, your website, or all this counter pressure that comes back against good things.
Yes.
Everything good. I mean, even
they try to destroy anything.
Right. But that's the enemy. I mean, that's real. That's what God told us. You will have persecution, but you'll have these good things that come with it.
Yes.
You know how it says if you give up your family, you will have these other things, but it says with persecution. So it's never without some issues. Right.
So that's exciting about your mom, right? Like that's really, I'll be praying about that. For us though, I know staying healthy, people trying to I want people always moving towards balance. And that's what the show Getting Better is about. How to always be moving towards balance instead of away, how to always be getting healthier and thinking about getting healthier in every area.
Right.
And so for this one, just the difference that in your life with your co-op, but also just with what your life has become, you have a very healthy life.
Yes.
And so with this segment, I want people to know that, the contentment that it's brought you.
Right.
And being close to the Lord, living close to the ground.
Yes.
With that life as well.
Without me actually being on a ranch somewhere, which wouldn't be bad. I'd like it, but that's not where I get to
Instead of just doing what you want, like so many people do. Right. Oh, it's life's short. I'm just going to, eat however I want. And then going to the doctor all the time and using prescriptions. Right.
Right.
And so if you choose that, that's a very hard route to go.
Right.
Yeah. You may, it may be easy, but you're going to get sicker and sicker and sicker. And most people are sick.
Yeah.
Most people.
What is the Del Walmsley Radio Show?
Welcome to the Del Walmsley Radio Show, where the hype ends and the help begins. I'm your host, Del Walmsley, and as always, we're working on your financial freedom.
Listen to the Del Walmsley Radio Show Monday through Friday from 11 until noon.
It takes a whole lot more effort to get something started in your life than it does to keep it moving.
Del Walmsley has moved thousands closer to a great life. The Del Walmsley Radio Show is now on 1160 AM KBDT, Monday through Friday from 11 until noon. Listen and move toward your great life today.
To admit it's getting better, a little better all the time.
If you'd like to get better, call Ann right now. 214-810-8255. 214-810-TALK. Now more with Ann Beal on 1160 AM KBDT.
Welcome back. Monica and I were discussing, if you haven't seen the video, you can always go to Facebook and see Getting Better with Ann Beal, and you'll see the live video of all the shows that we do. And so we do talk between the breaks and share information between the breaks and laugh between the breaks. And Christy's always trying to get me to do things right here, my producer. Okay, so Monica, yourhealthsource.org, yourhealthsource.org
Yes.
for the free-range organic, which is free-range meat. It's organic fruits and vegetables. It's coconut and olive oil and the healthy oils.
Right,
What
right.
else?
Okay, so yes, it's kombucha.
Oh,
It's,
kombucha. Yes,
it's
yes.
cultured foods. It's things like that. That's the direction I'm hoping people will take, is the vegetables, the fruit, the cultured foods, the natural ingredients, maybe even making things from scratch sometimes, things like that.
Yes. Now, let me just say this, because also sauerkraut is fermented. Right?
Sauerkraut's great.
But
cabbage is great.
I have friends that even mill their own grains. Now, you can get a mill, and that sounds so crazy, because when she told me, I'm like, what? Like, you're crazy. But then when I was at her house, did she teach you or did you teach her? Because
She taught me.
Okay,
She just introduced me to it, and she changed my life right there. She brought me one little bread roll and then told me, and I said, I've heard of that. And then I ran off with it and learned, because I did make bread sometimes because my mother had made it when I was a little girl, because someone taught her how. A lady across the street when I was a little girl taught her how. So she'd make bread with the flour from the store.
Right.
And neither one of us knew a thing about making fresh flour products.
Is it crazy how, it's easy.
And most doctors, nutritionists, they have no idea about milling fresh flour.
No.
That's why they tell you don't even eat it, because what's out there really isn't that great for you.
So you buy a mill, and how much do they cost?
They're a couple $100. They pay
Yes.
for themselves by the time you're done.
So, and then you mill your own grains. So you don't buy the GMO grains that have the bug killer in it, right? And so the glyphosate, and so none of us need to be eating Roundup,
right?
And so if you buy the grains, and they're not whole fresh grains that aren't GMO.
So we're a whole food family. We're a
Right.
whole grain family. There's a lot of families that won't eat grains at all. They're against bread. They say don't eat bread.
They don't realize that you can get the actual healthy stuff. So the things that really hurt the gut.
It was easy for people to teach people to be healthy if you just get rid of that whole category. But I really believe it was there. God put it there.
And you still don't make it all the time. I mean, it's not your main thing, but mainly it's not gluten free. It's glyphosate free.
Right.
And so people don't realize that it's not gluten intolerance. It's glyphosate intolerance, and glyphosate is Roundup.
Okay.
And so of course a lot of people would be intolerant.
Right.
I'm intolerant just thinking about it. Right.
Right.
And so by milling your own grains, you can buy a mill, and then even Kroger has these whole grains you can buy.
They do.
Different kinds.
That's
and
right.
I don't buy wheat a lot, but you can buy even millet. I mean,
That's
in the Bible, they had all kinds.
Sure. There's so many kinds.
And it's fun. It's kind of fun. And my kids are like, what are we doing? I'm like, let's just try it. Right.
Yeah.
And so that's one of the things.
It's a lot of fun. And getting your kids involved is what's going to make it different for them. A friend of mine just sent me a picture of a loaf of bread she made, and it was I taught her years ago, and she said, thank you for teaching me that. So she said, you know what, you gave me the courage to make some things from scratch and to look at things differently and not just be like everybody else. Or, we live off Pop-Tarts because we were raised on Pop-Tarts, but Pop-Tarts don't digest.
No, and
has anybody noticed?
Don't get me wrong. I love them, but I don't eat them.
Right.
And I because I want to stay well and I want to stay healthy. And people, I can tell you, people thought I was a kook. Now, I wasn't the 70s kind of kook person.
Right.
I am
did a lot of
different.
natural things.
I never have to go to the doctor. I can't even tell you the last time I went. Years.
Right.
And we stay well.
Right.
And we aren't on any prescriptions, nor is my
That's
husband.
wonderful.
And so we don't have to be on anything.
Right.
You guys don't have to be on anything. It's a whole different life. You can choose to eat those Pop-Tarts and those Cheez-Its and all that.
Sure.
And just be like, well, life's short and I'm going to live it. And then just have your prescriptions and go to the doctor. And you can do that. But let me tell you, you will be on high blood pressure medicine. You will be on diabetic medicine.
Right.
You will be on, arthritis medicine.
Oh, listen, diabetes. I mean, that's worth
on.
avoiding.
And so most people now, instead of it being, most people are well, and if you when I was young, I didn't know anyone who had cancer. Okay? I didn't
now
know
it's
anyone.
rampant.
Very few people. They had childhood diabetes. Every now and then I'd run into somebody, but I didn't hear it all the time. I didn't hear,
it's expected now. It's expected.
Yes. And so part of Getting Better with Ann Beal, this show, and when you see me on YouTube, Getting Better with Ann Beal, or Facebook, or wherever you find me, Living Well with Ann Beal, it is all about helping you know how to stay well instead of living that life. And that's part of this system.
Right.
Is that you don't have to be on those prescriptions, because those prescriptions all have side effects and they can kill you. There's all these side effects from one prescription. The doctors can't even keep up anymore.
Right.
So if you go to MDs
Uh-huh.
who are not taught chronic in med school, and they're only taught acute. If you go to MDs, they're not going to know the side effects, so they're
Right.
just going to prescribe you something else.
Right.
They put their they put the symptoms into a laptop, and they
Uh-huh.
come up with another prescription.
Right.
That is all they know. They do it themselves.
Right.
And so they take that. The average life of a doctor is 57, an MD, not an ND, not a DO.
Right.
And so part of what Monica and I have discovered is healthy fruits, vegetables, grains,
Beans,
nuts,
rice, just the
nuts,
plant
and
foods, healthy meats.
butter,
Mm-hmm.
heavy cream,
Real
things like
deal.
that. Yes.
Absolutely. Just real deal. It's actually pretty simple.
Healthy fats, avocados.
Yes.
So right now, because this is a time you can change your life, mostly because you're being forced to. in a
Sure.
lot of
Hey,
ways.
if you have to fast, that's even better.
Fasting. Now,
is
let's talk
excellent.
about that.
Well, I mean, it's good for you. If the worst thing happens is we all reduce down a little bit, that's actually very, very healthy for all of us. It's an amazing thing. It's a gift from God. Fasting is an absolutely amazing. I mean, I'm sure there's countless articles and books and videos about it, but yes, it is an amazing thing for your body. It allows your body to rest
So
and
a lot
take
of
care
people
of
are
itself.
intermittent fasting.
Yes, that's an easier way to fast.
It is. It's an easier way because a lot of people
And just as
take half.
effective. Yes.
And so that would be going like 8 hours or 10 hours or 12 hours or 16 hours in a
Right.
day without food.
Right.
And so you can start and work your way up.
Right.
Because we do when we sleep, we fast.
That's right.
But if you can delay 2 more hours before you eat,
Right.
or 4 more hours,
You gave your body a gift.
Yes.
Like, for example, if you eat at 5 p.m., okay, you go all evening, all the way through the
Easier way to
night.
do it. Yeah.
And then in the morning, you skip breakfast, drink water, whatever you have to do, and then get closer to lunchtime. You've just given yourself a fast.
And
And you
healing.
snuck it in through the sleeping, too, if you can sleep through that, which most people can, but not everybody. I'm
People
sure.
think that and you can do that if you just want to lose weight. It is an incredible way to lose weight.
Right.
But more than that, it's very
Mhm.
healing for the body.
My understanding, and I'm not a scientist or anything, but that when you're able to go 3 days, I think it is, or 2, might be 2, that your body begins to cells. So think the money you would have to spend to get new stem cells somehow, but you can do it with your fasting. So I would do the intermittent, and then if you ever feel led to, then do like 2 or 3 days. And I think you'll be surprised. My husband and I like to do the lemon cleanse. We've done that in years past, and that really helps because you get a little maple syrup and a little lemon juice and water, and you feel like you don't feel so bad. And after a while, it's incredible, the energy and the feeling that you have. So I am 100% behind that. And I think reduce or less or all this that we're sort of being forced to do right now isn't that bad for us in a way.
Well, and you by no means look your age. I mean, not at all. You guys go
Thank
to the
you.
Facebook, go to the Facebook days. We got to put
Don't
it on YouTube.
look close.
Does she look like she? Oh my
Oh.
gosh, like not at all.
Oh.
And so it's amazing what you can do when you're eating the right foods.
Right.
But also, I know you wanted to share a lot about your faith when it comes
Yes,
to that.
I do.
And when you're getting out of the system and you're changing your life and you're getting healthier in every way, and that's
Mhm,
part of getting better in every area of your life.
Mhm.
Tell me what you wanted to share about
Okay, because you did ask me what am I doing, and
Right.
and also I think it's so sweet. You've made us sound like we're in a bubble and we're so awesome and everything. And there's so many awesome things that have happened in my family. And I also wanted to pray with you because you've had a big loss this week, but I don't want to make her cry.
Oh, yeah, I'll cry.
We can ugly cry on here.
Yeah, don't make me cry.
It won't matter. It's okay. But I do because years ago, we lost a significant loved one in our life too. And we thought it was too soon. And that's hard when we think it's okay. But I think that was too soon. If there's that feeling, I do think there's a chance for a lot of ugly to come in when someone does pass away. It
Yes.
seems like people really battle. So what has been happening? It is my faith that leads me to, the Bible says he leads you in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. So he's led us in ways that we've walked in. We haven't walked in all of them, but the ways that he's given us, like the food idea, has been one of those things that have been very, very significant. And we are church attenders. We are Bible readers. We are on our knees. And I'm on my knees now more than ever. Our oldest son isn't walking with the Lord. And that was the biggest blow of my life. That's part of all this. When after our one person died, it's like hell broke loose in our house. And so since then, and then we took our business and said, shut that down. Give more attention here at home. Even though I was giving plenty of attention, I did not understand a lot of things.
Right.
So what I'm doing right now is 2 years ago, a pastor talked to us and basically he told us we had demonic activity in our house. I'm like, okay, I'm listening. But regardless of it, he taught us how to pray. And we've been praying. This past week, we went for special prayer. My husband went, I went, each one of our children that live in the home went. Even the 2-year-old, they laid hands on her and prayed for her. And so, so how I've been praying is very different now. And it's the first thing is I'm binding and I'm loosing like I've never done before. The scripture says the keys of the kingdom are binding and loosing. So binding is taking that thing that's not right, whether it's like, and if you think about it in the natural, we go, get rid of that bad food and bring in the good food, loose the good stuff, see what happens, you know, eat a bowl of cherries, eat a bowl of cherry tomatoes.
Yeah.
Why not? My brother said to me, I never thought about just eating a whole bunch of tomatoes. I said, why not?
I've seen people and I'm like, they just put salt on it or whatever.
Just eat it. Eat watermelon. Like this summer, we'll get
watermelon.
bunches of that and let the kids feast on it, and it'll be so good for them. But so I won't go into too much detail except to say that I'm binding the spirit of fear. Fear comes in so many forms. It's not just one spirit. It's, you know, I could be afraid to be here. I could be afraid I can't pay my bills. I could be afraid my husband's going to be mad at me today. I could be afraid my kids are going to get sick. I could be afraid of just going out in one room in my house. You can be afraid of that one room for some reason. You know, walking down the street. So there's a lot of fear, lots of fear.
Yeah, that if I do this, this would happen. So I can't do this because this might happen.
Right.
Yes.
And now if God cautions you not to do something, that's listening to him. But I bind and rebuke the spirit of fear, and I charge it to come out. And I wasn't doing that before.
Because if you make decisions in fear, you usually make the wrong decision.
Right. And then I'm loosing love because the Bible says perfect love cast out fear. So I'm like, God, help my daughter to feel your perfect love so she's not afraid. Help me to help her to feel it from me, because I can love her till Jesus comes back. But if she doesn't think I love her or she doesn't feel it, then there's a problem. There's a block. So fear is the first one. And I've been binding, rebuking, and charging it to come out, and then loosing God's love and teaching my children how to do that. And then another one, though, that I thought about for you that's been a real big one for my husband is a spirit of heaviness. And that's listed in scripture. I'm not just bringing this out of the air, but obviously we all know.
Yes.
And you need to grieve. You need to grieve, but you do not need to grieve like the world grieves. Okay. So dramatic grieving isn't from God. Grieving is from God. Even Jesus wept, right? He knew he was going to raise John from the dead. Was it John? No, it wasn't. It was Lazarus. Sorry.
Those names are so common.
I know. John and Lazarus.
So much alike.
Where did John come from? Is there a John? Anyway, but he knew that.
Yeah.
But he still cried over the fact that he died. So it's okay for us to cry or to mourn. It's just not to get stuck in it. That's where the enemy would want us to be, is stuck in grief. And then you wouldn't even be on the radio show.
Well, and I know people grieve in different ways. And for me, you know, what I've found is nothing makes me feel better. Nothing. Like if I'm home, if I'm gone, if I comfort eat, if I binge, if I starve, I mean, nothing makes me feel better. And so everybody was not wanting me to come in or do a show. And Linda wanted me to do a lot of things this week. And I'm just like, you know what? The Lord is just going to lead me to what he wants me to do.
Yes.
And I don't understand anything that's happened. But my job is to help my family, help me do what I'm called to do, and to just go forward where God's leading me, and not spend a lot of time in the past with I should have, I could have, I would have, which everyone does when someone dies suddenly like that.
See, so if you're driven, that's not from God. If you're led, he'll lead you. He's not going to drive you into the ground. That's not him, right?
No. And you know, it's
so you're
it's
showing your family, this is Anne, for the most part, not perfectly, but being led by God, and this is where I'm supposed to be right now. And
I know me, if I'm home, I in this state, I would just be in bed.
Right.
And I've been incredibly depressed in the past when I had another tragedy in my life, and I don't want to be that person.
So you've experienced depression in a big way, which is a spirit of heaviness.
Yes.
So like right now, I rebuke and I bind and I charge all heaviness to come off of you and out of you in Jesus' name. And I loose joy and peace and contentment and being led by God, and that your entire family will be protected, and there'll be ministering angels. God said they're there for us to minister to us. And I pray that there'll be nothing evil come from this. We had evil come. It came, and I could tell you lots of stories affecting all of our family, and we have chased it out. So, but heaviness is one of those. And even without a death, some people deal with heaviness regularly.
Yes, they do.
So that's not from God. That is not that's not a fruit of his spirit. It's a fruit of another spirit.
Well, and I feel like, you know, it's more Satan keeping us in the past, you know, feeling regret, or, you know, like what if we this or that, or what if it happened, and there's nothing,
or just a discouraging word that's constantly in your brain, and you're like, why are you discouraged? You shouldn't be.
Thank you, Christy.
Yeah, thank you.
I actually have learned that, you know, focusing on today, not living tomorrow, not
Right.
living in the past. There's nothing I can do about that. To
Right.
learn from it and gain wisdom from it.
Right.
That's what God wants us to
Right.
do. But also know that He has a plan for us.
Yes.
That there is a reason for all this. I don't know what it is.
Right.
And I'm trusting Him and going forward, which is part of
Yes.
the reason that I'm here with you.
That's
He
right.
gave me your name
That's right.
to come. And you of all people, with
Right.
your 9 children.
Right. This
I
was
thought-
very spontaneous. Neither one of us planned
Yes.
on this today.
And I just prayed that Monica, I'm like, oh my gosh, Lord, like Monica of all people, how can she possibly? And boom, it was weird.
Right.
So, that's what He has me here for. And that's what I want you guys to do, is to hear a good word today in
Right.
light of all this. We aren't afraid. We're not being stupid, but we're not afraid.
That's right.
And we want to help bless you
That's
so
right.
that you can, going forward in this new chaos, get better.
Right. You did
Almost
great. You did
Thank you,
great.
Christy.
But no
Okay.
kidding, that's something to really be praying of your family. That's something
Yes,
that they
'cause
don't, because their hearts are real open right now. This was a
Oh,
shock. It was like an
my-
intrusion.
My kids are not
So,
doing well.
okay.
And
You'll have to text me their names later and we'll pray for them at our house.
Yeah. So, I think for them, for me, I knew from the moment I was taking them to the hospital,
Mhm.
I knew that I had my job, because I can freak out, right? Just best as
Sure,
anyone,
sure.
to stay calm. And I need to stay calm, get them there safely. Let's all get there safely.
Right,
And be able to keep everyone calm and
Mhm.
just help.
right.
I just felt that was my job,
Right.
to deeply breathe, keep
Right,
breathing,
right.
help other people breathe,
Yes.
help, and then pray for everyone else and pray.
Yes.
And I spent most of my time there doing that.
That's
And
good.
and I
That's so
still
good.
I still feel that.
Right.
I do know that I'm in shock because
Right. 'Cause it was an intrusion. It was out of the blue.
I recognize how I'm feeling. The feeling that I have, I can tell it's shock because of the last tragedy, and not the one in December when Grandpa
right,
died,
Right.
but the really horrible one a long time ago. This is how I felt for quite a while.
Okay.
And people go, "You're handling it so well,"
Uh-huh.
and I thought, well, it's God, but also it's a
shock.
Your body numbs you to
Right.
be able to cope, so you can go
Sure,
forward and do so
sure.
many things. And so I think for me, I'm very aware what it is. I know I'll go in and out and in and out. And that's what
Uh-huh.
you do when you grieve. But it's amazing that it's so similar. And I told my husband, I can tell what this is. I
Mhm.
know this feeling.
Mhm.
I know what it is. And so it's
Definitely
been a blessing.
bind that and rebuke it and charge it to come out of you. Don't just say,
You don't
I'm
need
not
to
going to
be-
be depressed. I mean, tell it
Oh,
no.
yeah.
And
No.
out you come.
Yes.
And Father, I'm loosing, because binding and loosing are the keys to the kingdom.
Well, and I don't want to just be numb. I'm
Right.
not
just
afraid
receive his
to
love
cry,
and his
but I don't.
peace, and just say, okay, just let me
Yes.
receive that from you.
Yeah.
Because you can be tough. All of us are certainly to a certain degree tough. But I really believe that we forget that aspect of saying, I'm telling that to go. You don't have a place here.
Yeah, being able
So
to
I can
feel.
grieve. That's okay. But I'm not having what you're giving me that you gave me in the past.
Because feeling is such a wonderful thing.
It is.
It is. And to be joyful. And,
That's right.
but I do think that.
But you're not just in shock. You're riding off of the roots that you have
Yeah.
that are carrying you through this situation. It is shock, but it's also that you have that strength in you because of what you've been pouring in your entire life.
and I know what to do.
Yeah,
know,
that's what I
because
mean.
it's
You've got the
happened.
roots. The roots are real important.
The unknown is terrifying in a lot of ways,
Yes.
So there's a scary aspect to it, and that's why binding fear is so important. The unknown, God does so many amazing things there.
Uh-huh.
And so I'm waiting on that. Okay, Lord, I know you're going to show me. But in the meantime, just tell me where you want me to go.
Yes.
Now, for this last segment, it's as I get new sponsors. What is it? Right there.
Oh, yeah, there we are.
Did it say 550?
550.
Okay.
Yeah, it won't be very long.
So,
and that's it. Then we're done.
yeah, so
Okay.
this will be, so I'm just going to let you take over as soon as we get back.
Okay.
And what would you like to share now?
Probably
is
just
going-
encouragement of everything we said, and just for people to reach out to God, and just get that peace that can only come from Him.
Now, they also, if other, and they can get the fruits and vegetables at the grocery store, right? But we got to let them know to wash it, and you already said that.
Right.
The healthy grains and rice and things, the healthier they eat, the better.
Mhm.
How about drinks? Water,
Mhm.
or anything else you would suggest?
Well, like the kombuchas, they can make their
Kombuchas.
own, or they can
But
buy
how
it,
much of
it's
that,
expensive.
like, that's one of the things, because I had a guy who called, because from Dr. Wallach's show that we put on,
Mhm.
it's okay. It's going to cut off in just a minute, so she wants me to wait. This.
To admit it's getting better, a little better all the time.
You're getting better all the time. Now, back to Ann Beal on 1160 AM KBDT.
We wanted to share what are the best things for you to get if you're getting groceries, okay? And I know a lot of people are, a little worried, but to store up really good things. I mean, rice and beans last forever. Spaghetti lasts forever.
Right.
We would love for you to get the wholer grains,
Sure.
and
Sure.
we'd love for you to get a mill and mill your own. And we were talking about that in the last segment, so don't think I'm out of my mind.
Yeah.
But
that
it's
can
so
be down
much
the road.
healthier.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, homemade bread is always wonderful.
Yes.
But I wanted to ask you about kombucha because we had a caller who called in for Dr. Wallach's show because we play that show on this station too. And the guy drinks kombucha all the time. And so he started having all these stomach issues.
Okay.
And I told him, okay, you're not supposed to have it all the time. He didn't drink anything else besides that because he heard it was so healthy.
Right.
But,
Right. Oh, yes.
That's an extreme.
I would just say water. I mean, water is outstanding and amazing, and it's a gift too.
And your kids drink. I mean,
we drink water. That's our main drink.
Yes.
And we have in the past we've made kombucha. My husband and I enjoy kombucha at home. You brew tea.
I totally can see you doing that.
Yeah, well, and the kids can do it if you make them. If you make them do it, they can do it. So we would brew and bottle it up, and that was the least expensive way to do it. But I would say even apple cider vinegar, people like to put a little bit of that in their water.
Yeah.
And that is also going to kill germs and things and just be very, very good for you. But just water, it's so simple.
Yes. And it's
I mean,
simple.
there's other drinks like traditional medicinals as a tea we have on our grocery order list, but I don't think that's completely critical. I think even like essential oils, I like those. I've always sort of cringed at the word essential, like you can't live without them, because I lived a whole long time without them. You know what I mean?
Well,
but I think they're good for you. That's right. I
get
do
your
agree with you.
Yeah.
And so that's why the nutrients, like for example, a lot of people don't want to eat cabbage, but it's actually extremely good for you.
Yes.
Root vegetables are very good for you. If you love beets, go get beets and eat those because they're fabulous for you. There's things that that are just right there at our fingertips. And then, the grass-finished beef, if you can get that. I'm a believer in eggs. We don't eat a ton of eggs at our house, but we do eat them. So we just have that variety. So I would just say, especially the vegetables and the fruit, and if you don't feel good about the fresh, then go for the frozen. And if you don't feel good about that, then get your canned, but you're still better off doing that than you are with a bunch of packaged things or candies and things like that.
And it is interesting, is even if you can't get organic fruits and vegetables,
yes,
fruits and vegetables will
still have value.
They
That's
are amazing.
Right.
And so soak them, right?
Yes,
soak them,
wash them off.
Like
right.
if they have, and they always say, if you can't get organic, then it has a cover on it. Or,
right.
or a skin or anything like that. It's fine. Just wash it.
That's right.
Peel it. It'll be fine.
Absolutely.
And then, but if it doesn't have a skin,
right.
if it doesn't have a cover, then it'd be great to soak it.
Yes.
Soak it in apple cider vinegar, but at least wash it.
Well, here's the thing. And you and I talked about this, I think, off air, but you can actually check your body, watch your digestion.
Yes.
Your urine should be clear, basically clear, not dark yellow or dark, right?
Yeah.
So that's hydration usually, and hydration is huge.
I'm so glad you're telling people
There's
that.
nothing you could do probably better like today than just drink a couple quarts of water. Okay. I mean, children would drink less, but I would say a couple of quarts of water would be amazing for all of us. And probably most of us are behind and could drink more than that. And then there's things like sea salt. That's minerals. Sea salt, if you look it up in research, I think you'll find out that's pretty phenomenal, just that.
And even the Himalayan salt.
Yes.
Very good for you.
And then there's the fruits and vegetables, but pay attention to digestion. If you can't digest, that's a problem. If you're over digesting, that's a problem. So, but a lot of people, I would say, there's more people probably who aren't digesting well, and that should be fixed. And it takes a lot of energy for your body to digest. So if you fix that, you're going to have released energy. You're going to have energy that you didn't have because your body's so busy trying to get unpacked.
So
basically.
How would they fix the digestion?
Okay, well, the water number one,
definitely.
I would just say more than you think. Don't drown yourself. Don't overdrink, because I mentioned water, but I'm saying you probably need to. Like I could probably drink 3 more quarts before the day's over, and that'd be good for me.
And you can get digestive enzymes or just
absolutely.
enzymes before
there's
you
probiotics
eat.
Or things like that.
Yogurt.
There's every so often, there's an herb you can take that you can drink. Traditional medicinals has a tea you can drink at night that helps that, but you should be fairly regular. I'm not the person who goes 3 times a day or something. But they talk about that. I'm like, okay, I don't know. That's pretty like constantly eating and monitoring all that. But I think we can tell. And I'm trying to think who it was, but you can look up Science of Health, but you should be hydrated. That's one. So if you press your thumb and it squishes in and stays squished in, you're dehydrated.
And most people are dehydrated.
Yes.
And
that's that one. Start there.
Stay well, and learn something new while you're in. If
Right.
you're in, learn.
That's right. Is this the end of our show?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so my main goal is that you cry out to God and ask for wisdom. He said he would give it. Ask him. He will show you. He's showing us. That's all it is. He's showing us, and we're walking in that.
And if you ask, he will show you.
That's right.
And it
Be
is
confident.
amazing. Even if you just ask for, understanding him, he will show you.
That's right.
And there's lots of people out there that today are getting more and more afraid. And just call out to him and ask him and take comfort.
Right.
Rest.
And if you don't have peace, it's not from him. If you have fear, it's not from him.
We just are so thankful you've listened to us today. Monica Brown, thank you so much for being here. YourHealthSource.org.
Yes.
To learn all about the things we've said today. And, of course, Getting Better with Ann Beal will be here next week. You can go to my Facebook, YouTube, BigDTalk.com next week, or tune in. Take good care.